Hi, welcome to SD-WhoCon 2020, coming at you virtually, as so many things are coming at you in this strange year we're living through. I'm David Dawson, and I thank you so much for joining us for this cosplay panel. I'm very excited to talk to our panelists, but before I get into the panel with our panelists, I want to encourage you to check out PegasusRising.org. Pegasus Rising is the nonprofit organization that SD-WhoCon supports. They help veterans who are suffering from such issues as PTSD reintegrate into life through equine therapy. So that they pair them with horses, and the relationship between the human being and the horse helps them overcome some of the issues that they're fighting with PTSD. So please check out PegasusRising.org and see what they're all about. And if you have any ability to, please consider contributing to their cause. Now, today's panel, as I said, is cosplay. So this is our Cosplay for Fandom panel. And I'm going to bring in my regular co-host of my podcast, the IntelleXual podcast, Miss Whitney Wegman-Wood. And I'm going to show you her pictures here real quick and bring her on. Hi, Whitney. How you doing?
Hi. Hello, WhoCon. How's everybody doing?
Thanks for joining us, Whit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, David. Appreciate it.
So just a little background on you for our viewers. You're an actress.
I am.
But you also love cosplay. We've done many outfits together at Comic-Con and even at WhoCons, the last couple of WhoCons.
And WonderCon. Pretty much, we try and dress up at least once for everything. Yeah.
So just real quick, tell us a little bit about these couple outfits you've got on in these shots.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. So Hope Summers is the first shot. So that's like a Lycra cat suit basically, and then a cloak. And she's one of the X-Men for anybody who's not aware. The next one was you and I were covering the Vikings. I think it was the first year that they came to Comic-Con, and they were doing, they were burning a ship. And so I decided to dress up as a Viking to go do my reporting. And I was the only reporter that dressed up, which I find very odd. And then this last one is Westworld inspired, sort of barmaid. And I have to mention that both the Westworld and the X-Men outfit was created by Adela Garcia Custom Designs. She does all of my runway outfits, and periodically we collaborate on cosplay as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, those are some nice outfits. And you got lots of compliments when you were walking around in all of them.
Yeah. Well, and then the one that I didn't post, because it technically is not cosplay so much as Comic-Con fashion. Last year, I had a dress that was made out of Comic-Con bags, and that probably got the most press for me. But technically not cosplay, just weird fashion.
Yeah. Took all the free backpacks that we get from Comic-Con over the years and made a dress out of it, like a little Red Riding Hood dress with a hood and everything. And
yeah,
boy, that one just hit.
Like yeah, I love stuff like that because I like using, one, non-traditional materials, and two, you get to recycle. So
right. Well, we'll get into some of that discussion as the panel progresses. Let's bring in our other co-host here, if you will, Mr. Brendan MacNeil, Mr. Captain America in my eyes. Brendan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, David. How are you doing?
Doing good. It's nice to have my friends on a panel. Like this is fantastic.
I know. It's great. Yeah, and hello, WhoCon. Hello, Whitney.
Hello.
It's my first time actually like meeting you in this ever. So
yeah, it's been a weird time, like trying to figure out how to like get everybody together. So here we are. We'll do it virtually at SD-WhoCon.
That works. We are all in this TARDIS together.
There you go. Yeah, this
because it's much bigger on the inside.
We just don't know where it's going to end
up. Brendan, tell us a little bit about these three outfits you got on in these shots, real quick.
Well, so oddly enough, Captain America was not my first cosplay. My first cosplay was Superboy, because I had the Hot Topic t-shirt with the black with the red S on it, a pair of blue jeans, and a leather jacket. those pictures have that picture has been since lost to time, so I can't really know. I don't know where it is. But Captain America was kind of like the first cosplay that I got pressured into doing, because back before I moved to San Diego, I was working at a movie theater in Dillon, Montana. And the Avenger movies were coming out, and all my coworkers and my boss were like, you know what? You kind of look like Chris Evans. You should try dressing up as Captain America. And I'm like, no. It's like, sure, I would like to cosplay, but I live in Montana. I'm going to look like I'm a fruit. So, because, you know, if I get this outfit, where am I going to wear it?
Yeah, to the grocery store.
Yeah. So I moved to San Diego, and then started really getting into physical, started taking care of myself, started getting into physical shape better, so that way I could actually, you know, wear the suit well, as opposed to, you know, the suit wearing me, I guess, if that be the case. The Cyclops cosplay was another peer pressure type thing. I had mentioned in a San Diego Science Fiction Coalition meeting that I was thinking about doing Scott Summers for one of the like 1990s X-Men, because I loved my Saturday morning cartoons.
Yep.
And the Jean Grey that you see next to me, that is my friend Steffi. And I was sitting next to her during that meeting, and she's like, you need to do that cosplay now. So I went through and got that together. The cap suit is from white sheep leather. The Cyclops is just a spandex bodysuit with some definition to, you know, give me the appearance of more muscles. The harness was crafted out of foam and 3D printed parts. Same thing with the visor. And then the first cosplay that I really wanted to do was Red Hood, because I really enjoy the Batman series, and Under the Red Hood was one of my favorite DC animated feature movies. And so I got the pieces together with that. I had the leather jacket. I have the black pants, because being a stage technician, what good stage technician doesn't have a pair of black pants just like around? Had to get the helmet 3D printed by a friend of mine, Mark Tuttle. The mask is from Rogue Design my Domino mask is from Rogue Design FX, who, funny enough, are based in Montana. Just go full circle there. And then everything, the chest armor I got from somebody who I really don't like to plug, but I will plug his stuff, Jim Logan. It just took a long time for me to actually get that piece, which, we're probably going to talk about later in the panel, the whole entire risk of, commissions, contracting out people from makers and stuff like that. And then everything else is from Amazon. So
awesome. Well, Whitney, let's bring in our next panelist. What happened to my computer?
Oh, no.
My computer just went all black. Hold on a second. There we go.
We can still see you, so that's okay. So
yeah, well, I couldn't see things, so little issue there.
He's flying the TARDIS blind.
Yeah, flying the TARDIS blind. Hold on, let me pull that back up. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So our next panelist is
Ms. Amber Grayson. Amber is also an actress, and she does a lot of cosplay. How are you, Amber?
Hey guys, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, I've loved seeing all of your cosplays. Oh my gosh, these are great.
And there's so many more to talk about too. Like, that's just the tip of the iceberg, I think, with both of us and with you as well. So can you tell us about some of the costumes that are in these photos?
Yes, of course. So this first one is actually my very first cosplay ever. So this was kind of like, I think Brendan mentioned the peer pressure kind of element that a lot of people have with the cosplay. So I'm an actor. I'm no stranger to dressing up and getting weird, but I've never really created my own stuff, so it was for my very first Comic-Con in San Diego. and we were being all of the female DC characters. So I'm Hawkwoman over here. I got extremely ambitious with this one, and I actually created a pair of wings that kind of extend out. So you could like pull it out, and it would just kind of like, and then it wound up being so heavy that I couldn't actually like do it myself. So I wound up with some foam feathers the day of, and that's a cool thing about cosplay is if you have imagination and determination, you can just kind of make it happen.
So what was the original set made out of? Because you said were foam. What was that really heavy one?
So it was just like very small, like wooden dowels kind of a thing. So I just had them pieced together, and then by the time they would extend all the way, it was too much for me. So I will eventually make those extendable wings because they were way too much fun. But yeah, this is just kind of like, what happened instead.
So this was your first cosplay, and you built all of this yourself?
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
That's impressive.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, I had some friends who are very interested in cosplay, and so we've kind of started going in gaggles and groups to these things. So it's kind of become a tradition.
Cool.
So
tell us a little bit about the other two.
Sure. So the next one is a stormtrooper inspired kind of dress. And I made this one to watch a friend of mine walk the runway at the Her Universe fashion show. And that's a fashion show that's kind of designed to encourage women to really embrace nerd culture and to kind of feel like they have a place. Because I know a lot of times just online forums, and there's a lot of bullying with women in nerd culture. And so this has just kind of been like a fun way to kind of just express yourselves. And so
I love Her Universe. They do such amazing stuff for women to wear.
Yeah, they really do.
They really do. They've changed the game on women and nerd couture. And so the arm paneling is actually a little boy's football uniform that's been gutted and was sewn together to kind of create the look of the armor. And I actually did that backstage at work while I was in another costume, and then rushed over to put that on. And then
what was your friend as? You said she was walking the runway. Was she also a Star Wars inspired outfit?
Let's see. I believe this year she was Jyn Erso's inspired outfit, and then the year before she was Sally from the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nice.
Awesome. I love
think I saw
Sally.
both of those.
Talented. She's been able to walk a couple of years, and I've been able to see her, so it's been wonderful.
That's cool. And then are you Tinkerbell in that third panel?
So I am actually the pirate fairy.
Pirate Fairy.
The pirate fairy, yes. So she has her own little movie, and a huge gaggle of my friends went to D23, and we had a wing making party one day where we all just had like the cellophane and the wires, and we were bending and using hair dryers.
I actually have a closer view of that image that we'll go to when we get into making costumes. So hold that thought a little bit. But that looks gorgeous. Let's bring in our final panelists, shall we? Brendan.
It's like, all right. This gentleman is a dear friend of mine, even though we give each other crap all the time. Shane Holly. He is he's the commanding officer of the 501st Legion here in San Diego, California. Some of the best Mandalorian, like his Kylo is on point. We joke around and say that I have daddy issues because I dress up as Red Hood. He also does a Deathstroke. And in terms of the current canon that's going on right now, Deathstroke is supposedly, Jason Todd's father. It's like, Batman found me stealing his rims. Thanks, Dad. Then Superboy with him as Superman. That's another one of his cosplays. But Shane's here, so I'll let him go do the rundown in terms of what else he does.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. Hey, son. How are you?
I'm fine, Dad. We need to talk more often. I don't call as much, and I'm sorry.
No, you don't. I think I'm going to disown you here in a minute. That's okay, though.
That's fine.
So commanding officer of the 501st here in San Diego, the Imperial Sands Garrison. And as you can see, I love cosplay. I think I've got probably about 30 plus costumes right now. On the screen, what we have right now is one of my latest ones. The first one is my Assassin's Creed that I just put together probably 2 months ago. I went back and started playing Black Flag, and I was like, you know what? I want to cosplay that. So I kind of threw it together. I had a bunch of pieces kind of laying around from other cosplays and stuff like that, and just kind of threw it together. The jacket I actually bought off Amazon and kind of modded it for myself. The hood is actually my original Kylo Ren hood from my first Kylo Ren cosplay that I did. Basically detached it and connected it to the jacket and everything else. It's kind of my Amazon cosplay right there. That one I really can't take any real credit for putting together. The one in the middle is my pride and joy and my dream cosplay that I always wanted to do. It was a 2-year build, 100% 3D printed. The helmet alone took me 97 hours to print. It's head to toe 3D printed. I did everything starting on a small 9-inch by 9-inch bed up to when I upgraded to my large 14 by 14 bed. And I love that thing to death. I'm actually going to go through and repaint it black to match everything else that I wear because I love black for some reason.
It's a color that never goes out of style.
No.
Right?
No. And I like putting myself through hell because, black and heat, in
Black
San Diego in the middle of July, why not, And then my Mandalorian, which is, that's my version 2 of my Mando. The only differences on that one is the helmet and the chest diamond. Everything on it except for the soft parts I made. The helmet is another 3D print that I did. The gauntlets are 3D printed. The shoulder armor is 6 mil plastic with a 3D print on the top. And then the rest of it's all 6 mil plastic with a 3 mil trauma plating on top of it. And that took me, everybody was telling me, it's going to take you a year and a half to put together a Mando. And I literally threw that together in 6 months.
Wow.
So, and then I've got a few other ones. I've got another Mando that I did specifically for this year for the El Centro Air Show, and it's for the Blue Angels. And there's a group of us there's like 6 of us that did it, and that one I put together in a month and a half.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I love doing it, and it's a lot of fun.
When it comes to 3D printing like that, one, do you sketch out what's going in there, or do you find on the internet, has somebody already developed, like, here's the little graphic of how you put this together on the 3D? I've never used a 3D printer, so I'm curious.
So there's different ways that you can do it. So that Spartan that I did the entire 3D print on is a combination of 2 different Spartans from my 2 favorite Halo games. And so there's a website called Thingiverse where you can get free files to download and to use to print, or you can go through and you can use a CAD program to create your own. But that kind of requires you to kind of have a high definition camera to basically scan in what you want to turn into a 3D object. So enough knowledge
of CAD to go through and actually figure out all the vectors and everything else.
My brother-in-law is actually a CAD guy, so
so there's a bunch of different ways. The easiest way is definitely to go through Thingiverse and do that. Or there are some content creators out there that have amazing files that you can actually purchase the file and 3D print it. So the helmet for my Mando that we just had, that's actually a file that I got from a gentleman. I can't remember his name, but I couldn't find a helmet that I liked. I really liked the helmet from The Mandalorian, but I took and so I 3D printed it and I just made some changes to it so it didn't look exactly like the helmet from the show. So on my helmet, I kind of hid the lines that are in what you call the mohawk, which is the piece that goes right here.
Mhm.
And then there's lines that go across the visor on the top. So I just kind of filled those in with some spot putty and stuff like that. Just like it had some differences, but you could tell that it was which helmet it was. So
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank
Did you use a graphite paint for that, Shane?
So everybody asked me about the paint. So the paint scheme for it is, so this Mando's basically, what if Kylo Ren became a Mandalorian instead of a Knight of Ren? So the helmet is based off of kind of the paint scheme that he has on his. So it's a textured paint that you would use on patio furniture for the backyard.
Oh.
And then it's a black primer with a flat clear coat to kind of just seal it in. And the cheeks you can kind of barely see on it just because it's so dark is the same color as the trauma plating that's on the armor. So it's called carbon mist. So it's a carbon black paint.
So now the highlight that we're seeing on the shoulder, is that painted on, or is that reflective enough that it's actually catching light?
The Mandalorian, the skull, the Mythosaurus.
Yeah.
So that is actually part of the 3D print. So that's actually in the actual armor.
No, but I meant like, so it's catching this right on the left side of the photo. It's catching this light, and I'm trying to figure out, did you paint that highlight in, or is the paint that you're using so shiny that it's reflecting the...
It's that shiny. So everybody told me I was crazy because every Mando that you ever see out there is really battle damaged and battle worn. So there's a lot of chips and stuff like that on their armor. Well, my whole concept was I'm a stealth Mando. I don't ever get shot at because I'm the first one to take you out, so nobody gets to take you out. So it was really, really clean. And from what my understanding is when you go through the approval process, if you have a clean kit, most of the time it gets kicked back. And this kit actually is what they use now when they're actually doing an approval process and somebody has a clean kit that's black like this, because a lot of times everybody just is all black. And so I try to change it up a little bit with the carbon mist, so you have the flat black and then you have the glossiness on the trauma plating. So
that's like a gloss finish
work.
that gave you that.
Actually, no. It was just, the paint is a high gloss paint.
Oh.
So there's no because that type of paint, if you were to try and use any type of like clear coat on it, you're going to get what's called an orange peel. So it's going to basically crackle the paint.
There's so many little things, like little technical things like that in a piece of costuming that's as complex as that Mandalorian, which on the surface looks fairly simple, but isn't at all.
No.
100 hours later.
Yeah. So that whole thing is made out of a 4-foot by 5-foot piece of flat plastic.
Wow.
So it's heat formed to fit my body. So it was me and a couple of my buddies sitting there one afternoon with the heat gun heating up the plastic, and me just standing there going, "Okay, guys, just do it," and just putting hot plastic on your body and forming it to you so it fits properly.
You have to suffer for your art.
You do. Or you can be smart and wear a hoodie while they do it.
No one ever said that you were smart, Shane.
No, I am not. I am the most craziest person you'll probably ever meet. We call it trooping. We go to events and everything like that. And in the 5 years that I've done this, I've done probably close to 600 events.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I have no filter. I'll do 5 or 6 events in a day. I don't care. Just let me get out there and have fun.
So this year, because obviously, like, you can't gather, have you been doing a lot of virtual events?
Not too many virtual events, just because there hasn't been too many opportunities to do it. But when there has been, I have. The beginning of the year, I had about So between January and until our last troop, which was literally the week before they shut everything down, I had about 12 events under my belt for the year so far. So since then, I've done probably about 5 or 6, 2 virtual, 3 in person, and then I actually have an in-person one on the 17th, which I'm actually looking forward to because it's been about a month or so since I've actually gotten to do an event. And for somebody like me that loves to do events and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, I need to do something.
Oh, tell me about it. My daily, normal, everyday job is conventions and conferences. And beginning of the year, we had 76 events booked for the year that I was going to be working on.
Yeah. All gone. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But, we are figuring it out, which is why we're here.
And I mean, you're super safe and sound because literally your entire body is like in a respirator. So.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah. Literally covered from head to toe and just about everything that I wear. I mean, the only costume that I have that doesn't cover my face. Well, 2 costumes that don't cover. Well, 3 now. Sorry. I keep going up. No, it's 3. So my Superman costume, my Vault Dweller from Fallout 76, and then of course my Assassin's Creed.
Very nice.
So, and I just have to call Brendan out really quick because he wasn't peer pressured into doing that Cyclops. He was told to do it, but wasn't peer pressured to do it. Why you want to talk about somebody being peer pressured into doing it? I was peer pressured by Brendan to do that. We did a group together at Comic-Con, and he's like, dude, you do Deadpool. You got to do yellow and blue Deadpool. You got to do yellow and blue Deadpool. For like a month straight, I still did it, and it came out amazing.
It came out amazing, and also it's like we got recognized by GameStop, by IGN. Yep. Like we got there. You can literally Google or do a Google image search of SDCC Cosplay 2018, and we are in the top 10.
Yep,
it's awesome.
Yeah, there was 6 of us, 6 or 7 of us that got together and did it. So we had
you guys looked incredible.
Yeah, Cyclops, Deadpool, Rogue, X-22, Wolverine,
X-23. I thought
X-23. Sorry, yeah, X-23. God, who am I forgetting? Jean Grey, and I think that's it. I don't know. Old age sucks. Your brain just starts to go.
Right. Just let me know if you ever need somebody to be Beast.
There you go. Heck yeah, that'd be awesome.
Fun.
I would love to do that.
You'd be good at that.
Okay, let's take a close look at some non-helmeted outfits here. Somebody who's regularly putting her face out there for everybody to see.
Oh, hey.
Here's some close-ups on Amber.
So
these are kind of cool because you were talking about the wings in both of these in your intro. You see the wings a lot better in these shots.
Right. My wing game has escalated through the years, as we can see. It was really funny walking around Comic-Con like this. People kept yelling, what was it? Bird person no at me. They looked very much like Bird Person from Rick and Morty. It was just kind of like a fun little thing. So eventually I should maybe do a gender bend of him or something.
You have the appropriate attire.
Tell us a little bit about those cellophane wings. Like you were starting to tell us a little bit about creating those. What went into making those?
Okay, so those are a very thick, basically V of wire. And then it kind of sticks right back into the corset, and it kind of dips pretty low so that it has like a sturdy base. And then from that, we have like smaller wires that we've kind of like bent around. And then the cellophane was laid down. We traced out exactly how we wanted the shape of the wings to go, and basically like sculpted out the veins, laid those down. Lots of box cuttering and glue spray, lots of glitter, of course. And we hair dried those, and we were just like this huge gaggle of fairies. What is the plural of fairies? Just
fairies.
Fairies.
It's a fairy and fairies.
It's like Fair eye.
Fair eyes. Yeah, these huge wings walking around D23 was awesome.
So now the vein work, is that those are wires going in through there where you have the curly cues, or did you? Yeah, okay, those are wires.
Those are all individual wires that have been just twisted around to kind of mimic the cartoon wings as best as we could. So we each had like pictures of our cartoon wings, and we kind of our side by sides are pretty cool. We got pretty accurate with those.
So those are like thin grade crafting wire, not necessarily the same thickness as the ones that you had cross.
Right. So the cross is very thick so that it's stable and sturdy, and it's not going to just kind of like fall down on you. But then the others are just kind of like just to add shape and structure.
Okay.
Very cool. Now I notice you have a pointy ear sticking out of your hair.
Yes.
Is that on the bandana, or did you actually put on pointy ears?
So I did glue ears. My ears are not as pointy. So we decided that we were all going to be, uniform fairies. So we each wound up gluing little ear tips, and then we used makeup to kind of make it look a little bit more natural. And then my hair kind of to hide the little.
Wait, is that your real hair, or is that a wig?
No, that's a wig. That's a
Okay.
wig. Yeah. I wish I were that luscious. I mean,
you can definitely pull off red hair, so.
oh, thank you.
Years.
So, Amber, you said you're an actress and you are used to dressing up anyway, but you're actually making your costumes.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit about the transition from just being an actress who had costumes that you wore on stage and whatever to actually becoming somebody who's creating her own outfits for cosplay. Like,
Right.
How has that transition been for you?
It's been interesting. Basically, it's just a lot of trial and error. I work at a local theme park in the area, and we have a really great costume department, and the ladies in there are open to any questions that I have. So they've done some really cool things on me with like craft foam that's been like melted. And so anytime I get a chance to talk to them, if I get to come and work a little bit early, I'll be like, this is really cool, and I wanted to ask you about it. So I kind of have some mentors in the costume department that way. And then other than that, it's basically just kind of like looking for ways to make it work. Lots of trial and error.
How long do you think it takes usually for you to do one of your outfits, like what we were just looking at? Because, I mean, Shane says he spent 2 years working on one of his.
I've never done one for 2 years. Yeah, I would. I do not have that kind of patience, but I think that's awesome. It probably about a month for most of them, just kind of depending. We'll kind of come up with like a concept a few months out, and then it's like a whole process of I'm going with my group of girls, and we'll all kind of like pick characters and come up with ideas, and we have like our little Facebook group where we're kind of like bantering about what we can do.
Nice. Well, one of the things I really like about this group of people on this panel is your cosplay game is kind of all encompassing across the map of what people do. I'm going to bring up some images for Whitney here, who's been, working on a bunch of different things. And Whitney, you go really elaborate, but you also go really simple. And I love that you aren't afraid to go either direction. Some people start getting really complex and don't ever want to go back.
Well, here's the other thing. Sometimes I don't think of things until like the day before, and then I'm like, all right, how can I do this quickly? That's
like your Iron Man?
Yeah, Iron Man. Iron Man was the one that I'm like, I decided maybe 2 days before that I'm like, I'm going to do other stuff other than just X-Men this year. I'm going to have a different costume each day. Dumb idea, but whatever.
But almost required.
So for Iron Man, really like the most complicated part was doing the glove. And so I got a gardener's glove and craft foam and found online a template for like all of the design part of the glove, put that all together, and then sprayed it with, it's just like a spray plastic that you spray on, and it takes quite a few coats and it takes forever to dry. But yeah, that might have taken me a day and a half, maybe, cutting all the pieces and hot gluing them together. And then the longest part was waiting for the paint to dry, quite literally.
And tell us a little bit about the Spider-Man outfit you're wearing there. That was for a photo thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was for a photo shoot. So that was just brought for me. So I'm not really sure where the photographer purchased it. I'm assuming Amazon, but it fit me pretty good. I liked it. I almost was like, can I buy this from you? But then I was like, no, if I'm gonna do it for my cosplay, I'd rather like build something. But yeah, I liked doing the photo shoot. It was a lot of fun.
You hear that, guys? Whitney's starting to become snobby about her cosplay.
No, it's nice when people ask you to be able to say like either I built this or me and my friend built this or I don't know.
It's okay, Whitney. Sometimes you got to be snobby about your cosplay. It's all right.
Well, is it being snobby or is it being prideful in the work that you put into the cosplay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
More than it's. I mean, I know that there's like some people that go through. It's like, yes, they are very snobby about their cosplay because they're not the ones who are making the costume.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, look, I have this. It's kind of like the money cosplayer, if that makes any sense. The person who just buys everything, doesn't know what it takes to like actually build something. It's like, you know, it was kind of a sad time when a girl that I was dating, I actually had more makeup than she did because I have gore effects, blood, bruising. I have all these. It's like I have all this effects makeup, which there's a lot more of it than what it is that there is in like a little Revlon kit.
Right. Well, let's put you back into the hot seat real quick here, Brendan. Tell us a little bit about these looks.
Oh, speaking of makeup. So the one that's on the hopefully it's on the left-hand side. As we're looking at it, this is a Nathan Drake cosplay. I love the Uncharted games, and I was one of those things where I'm like, okay, I have the pants, I have the shirt, I just need to get a harness.
What I love about this image, Brendan, is all you can see in this shot is your face, how you've got your hair cut, the makeup on your face, and the harness around your shoulders. And I knew instantly who you were playing.
Because Nathan Drake is getting his butt kicked all the time.
I'm just kind of curious how you got your butt kicked so bad and kept your hair so perfect.
Video game physics makes no sense, man. But the bruising, I had to be taught in terms of how to actually do that myself. Because you don't start with your dark colors, you start with yellow. You start with yellow as your base. The scrapes and scratches I did with Maron fake blood. I did a busted lip with a product called Rigid Collodion, which it's weird because it like sucks the skin, it puts a divot into your skin and just makes things all nice and scarry. And there have been times where I have worn this cosplay. The last time I can think about, the last time that I actually recall was for the PlayStation experience up in Anaheim. I got there early because I wanted to beat LA traffic. And I actually had the Anaheim Police Department come up to me and ask me if I was okay. And I'm like, yeah, this is all fake. I'm here for that. And they're like, oh, okay. It's like, how? And they got really interested. It's like, they're like, it looks good. I'm like, well, thank you. It's like coming from you. It's coming from you. That's like the highest praise that you can possibly get. The next one is me in my full red hood, which unfortunately you can only see just the helmet and the jacket and the glove. I was outside of San Diego Comic-Con walking along, and I see this Joker that's literally the best Joker that I have seen all day. And he's in character. And so he starts like razzing me. It's like, that's the biggest Jason Todd I've ever seen. Because I'm 6'3", Jason Todd is not. And so he's like, we kind of like, go up, square off. And I ask, it's like, hey, can I get a photo? And would you be okay with me like grabbing your lapel and I'm going to punch you? He's like, oh yeah, sure, go for it. And so we got this fantastic shot, and and turns out he's actually the person who taught me how to do the gore makeup. They're roommates. So it's an interesting of how small the world is in terms of the cosplay community when you think it's very large.
That's amazing.
So
that's super fun.
But in terms of like the details of the helmet, it's like I said, it's 3D printed, and how I whited out the eyes, which are really is about the only thing that was an addition to it, because it's just magnets. It sits. I should have actually brought it into the room with me, because I could have it. It separates from the back, and I just put it like I would a hat, clap it back on. But the eyes are duct tape. Is just cheesecloth. Man, let's see if I can speak. Cheesecloth with duct tape. So
awesome.
There you go.
Those simple solutions that turn out to be so good.
That's fantastic. So we're actually coming up on our time. Boy, 40 minutes was easy to fill, wasn't it?
Yeah. We have so much more we could talk about.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But I wanted, part of the thing I really like, and we've said it a couple of times, is there's this kind of breadth of what cosplay is. And I always come back to the idea that cosplays existed before nerddom kind of took it over, with Halloween, for one. And, we all cosplayed as kids as our favorite things. But even if you go further back, all these like Civil War reenactment folks and, people who love history and dress up as their favorite presidents, or, dress up in particular battle attire. That's all cosplay too.
Well, if you think about even for like quote unquote normies, like ladies have high tees and they definitely get dressed up in a pseudo Victorian look a lot of the time to go have tea.
Exactly. So let your cosplay flag fly.
Absolutely.
So one last look here, and this, we didn't tell John that we're putting his photo up on this panel.
Dun, dun, dun.
But, Whitney made a costume for her husband for Halloween one year. Threw it together rather quickly, but I just wanted to show what you can do, quickly at home. Tell us a little bit about this.
Literally everything was picked up from like the dollar store. It was an apron, and then that was a tablecloth, the red parts. And we had last minute decided that we were going to go to a Halloween party. I'm very insistent that if we go to a Halloween party, we should have a couple's costume. And so that was the year I had that Westworld outfit that we saw at the beginning of the episode. And so I'm like, okay, you can be a butcher. I can put that together really fast. So this is held together with safety pins and hot glue.
Sometimes that's all you need.
30 minutes.
Right?
30 minutes and costume ready to go.
Yeah. And people knew who he was because, Westworld was popular, and I was dressed up as one of the not the host, but the bar saloon girls. So
right. And I wanted to show that one just because, like, I know people are intimidated at the idea of getting into cosplay. They don't know kind of how to start or what to do. Everybody wants to do, quite frankly, what Shane's doing and what Brendan has been doing, with like 3D printed pieces and everything super custom. But that's not necessarily where you have to start. You can start as simple as stuff from the dollar store, throwing together something incredible, being creative, and being creative enough that people recognize what it is. And the joy comes in that, in the creation. Am I correct?
Yeah, it comes in the creation, and I always say, anytime you see a cosplayer, whether it's an amazing piece or it's something that just looks like they're beginning, you have to start somewhere, and if they feel that they look amazing in it and they love it, that's what cosplay is about. It's not about people judging people on what they wear and how they wear it and present themselves. It's about how they feel in it and what joy it brings to them. Somebody could care less about it, but as long as that person loves wearing it and they accomplish what they wanted to accomplish and they're starting out and they learn something new, then job well done.
Yeah. And I would suggest, like Whitney, you sent me the photo and I didn't put it into the slides, but we dressed you up as Marty McFly a while back. You want to get into cosplay? That's pretty easy one. It's blue jeans. It's like a blue jean jacket. It's a puffy orange vest. That's all the more you need. You got those basic elements. You can go out and people know who you're dressed up as, right?
Right.
Get that feeling of people recognizing what you're dressed up as. And I think it'll encourage you to take it even further from that point on. But taking that first step into cosplay is easy.
And going through your closet to be like, okay, it's like, what is it I haven't worn in forever?
Yep.
And then like taking that out, because that shirt that I have, it's like I bought that at Walmart like years ago.
Right.
But now it's all grungy. It's still a comfortable shirt to wear, and sometimes I'll admit I still wear it around the house. But that's because it's comfortable. Yeah. But going through your closet and seeing what it is that you can actually create out of the stuff that you have, turning that kind of trash into treasure moment,
right,
is very fulfilling, and also the sky is your ceiling essentially. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us on the cosplay panel and sharing some of the creations that you've made and some of the experience that you've had in getting to where you're making these outfits. I hope it inspires some of the people watching to get into it. Especially, this is SD WhoCon, right? There are so many outfits in the Doctor Who universe that you can create, and most of them don't require a degree in costuming to do, right?
Absolutely not. It requires going to the thrift store and buying vintage pieces.
There you go. So, take a look at what's going on, and especially in classic Doctor Who. Like, you'll find stuff that you can create, and people will appreciate it for the effort of figuring out the pieces, just finding the right pieces to make it look right. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. Just has to have the spirit of what you're trying to represent, and that's where the fun is. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, our audience, for joining us on the cosplay panel here at SD WhoCon Virtual 2020. Hopefully next year we'll be back together and we can do this stuff in person and maybe actually do the panel dressed up. That would be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
Indeed. I need an excuse to dress up.
I should have grabbed my fez. Please make sure you check out the rest of the amazing panels that we have going on this weekend on SD WhoCon, and make sure you check out pegasusrising.org. And if you have the ability to contribute to that wonderful nonprofit and help them in the efforts that they're doing to help our veterans who are trying to reintegrate into life, we would greatly appreciate your support there. Until our next panels, I'm Dave Dawson. This has been all my friends. Thank you guys again so much. Bye, everybody.
Thanks all, and see you all later.